Smoky Roasted Tomato Soup, a flavorful and comforting recipe. Part 1, Introduction. Hello everyone, and welcome back to Taste Tour Guide. I'm your host's name. And today we're diving into a delicious and comforting recipe that's perfect for any time of the year, smoky roasted tomato soup. This soup is packed with rich flavors from roasted tomatoes, garlic, and smoky paprika, making it a hit with both kids and adults. Whether you're looking for a quick weeknight dinner or a cozy lunch, this soup is sure to satisfy. Tomato soup is a classic comfort food that has been enjoyed for generations. It's versatile, easy to make, and can be served hot or cold, depending on the season. Our version of tomato soup adds a smoky twist, which elevates the flavor profile and brings a depth of taste that is simply irresistible. The secret to achieving this smokiness lies in roasting the tomatoes and garlic until they are caramelized and slightly charred. This process not only enhances the natural sweetness of the tomatoes but also imparts a rich, smoky flavor that takes this soup to the next level. In this video, I'll guide you through each step of the process, from selecting the freshest ingredients to blending the soup to a creamy perfection. We'll also cover some tips and tricks to ensure that your soup turns out delicious every time. So, gather your ingredients, roll up your sleeves, and let's get started. Part 2, Ingredients. Before we start cooking, let's go over the ingredients you'll need for our smoky roasted tomato soup. Here's what you'll need. 2 pounds of ripe tomatoes, halved. 1 large onion, chopped. 4 cloves of garlic, peeled. 2 tablespoons of olive oil. 1 teaspoon of smoked paprika. 1 teaspoon of dried thyme. 4 cups of vegetable broth. 1 cup of heavy cream, optional. Salt and pepper to taste. Fresh basil leaves. Aves for garnish. Tomatoes are the star of this dish, so it's important to choose ripe, juicy tomatoes for the best flavor. If you can find heirloom tomatoes, they work wonderfully in this recipe. But any ripe tomato will do. The onion and garlic add depth and complexity to the soup, while the smoked paprika gives it that distinctive smoky flavor. Dried thyme complements the tomatoes perfectly, adding a subtle earthy note. Vegetable broth serves as the base for our soup, providing a rich and savory foundation. If you prefer a creamier texture, you can add heavy cream. But this step is optional. Fresh basil leaves are the perfect finishing touch, adding a burst of freshness and color to the final dish. Make sure to have all your ingredients prepped and ready to go before you start cooking. Part 3, Roasting the tomatoes. First, we'll roast the tomatoes to bring out their natural sweetness and add a smoky depth to our soup. Preheat your oven to 400 degrees Fahrenheit 200 degrees Celsius. Place the halved tomatoes, chopped onion, and peeled garlic cloves on a baking sheet. Drizzle everything with olive oil and sprinkle with salt, pepper, and smoked paprika. Toss to coat everything evenly, ensuring that the tomatoes are cut side up. Roasting is a fantastic way to concentrate the flavors of the vegetables. As the tomatoes roast, their natural sugars caramelize, creating a deeper, more complex flavor. The onions and garlic also take on a lovely sweetness and a hint of smokiness. The smoked paprika not only adds a beautiful color but also infuses the vegetables with a subtle smoky aroma. Roast the vegetables in the preheated oven for about 30 to 35 minutes. Or until the tomatoes are soft and slightly charred around the edges. You'll know they're ready when the skins start to blister and the juices are bubbling. This roasting process caramelizes the tomatoes and onions, enhancing their flavors and giving our soup that signature smoky taste. Once the vegetables are roasted to perfection, remove them from the oven and let them cool slightly. This will make it easier to handle them when transferring to the pot. Roasting the tomatoes is the key step that sets this soup apart. So take your time and enjoy the wonderful aromas filling your kitchen. Part 4. Preparing the soup. Now that our vegetables are beautifully roasted, it's time to turn them into a delicious soup. Transfer the roasted tomatoes, onions, and garlic to a large pot. Make sure to scrape all the juices and any brown bits from the baking sheet into the pot as well, as they contain a lot of flavor. Add the dried thyme to the pot. Thyme pairs wonderfully with tomatoes, adding a subtle herbal note that complements the smokiness of the paprika. Pour in the vegetable broth, which will serve as the base of our soup. Bring the mixture to a simmer over medium heat, and let it cook for about 10 to 15 minutes to allow all the flavors to meld together. Next, we'll blend the soup to create a smooth and creamy texture. There are a couple of ways to do this. You can use an immersion blender directly in the pot, which is convenient and minimizes cleanup. Alternatively, you can transfer the soup in batches to a blender and blend until smooth. If you prefer a chunkier texture, you can blend less or even leave some of the vegetables whole. For an extra creamy and rich texture, you can stir in the heavy cream at this stage. This step is optional, but it adds a luxurious velvety texture to the soup. Heavy cream also balances out the acidity of the tomatoes, making the soup more mellow and smooth. Taste the soup and adjust the seasoning with salt and pepper as needed. Remember, the roasted vegetables already have a lot of flavor, so you might not need much additional seasoning. Part 5. Serving and garnishing. Now that our smoky roasted tomato soup is ready, it's time to serve and enjoy. Ladle the soup into bowls, taking care to distribute the creamy texture and rich flavors evenly. The vibrant red color of the soup is truly inviting, and the aroma is simply irresistible. For the final touch, garnish each bowl with fresh basil leaves. The bright green basil adds a fresh and aromatic note that perfectly complements the smoky flavors of the soup. If you're feeling fancy, you can also add a drizzle of olive oil or a sprinkle of freshly ground black pepper on top. This soup pairs wonderfully with a slice of crusty bread or a grilled cheese sandwich. The combination of the smoky, flavorful soup and the crunchy, buttery bread is simply divine. Whether you're serving it as a starter or a main course, this smoky roasted tomato soup is sure to impress your family and friends. Thank you for joining me today on Taste Tour Guide. I hope you enjoyed this recipe and feel inspired to try it at home. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up, leave a comment, and share it with your friends. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and hit the notification bell so you never miss an update. We have many more delicious recipes from around the world coming your way. Happy cooking! And see you next time.